Welcome to the Dan Stevens Show. This is episode 10 already. How time flies when you're having fun. 10 weeks in. Thanks for coming along, guys. This week on the Dan Stevens Show, the news, where it's about a female Dublin bus mechanic. This week's serial killer of the week, Big John Wayne Gacy. Nasty bit of stuff. I won't get too graphic with it, don't worry. It's not too bad. Well, who knows what'll happen. In the Agony Uncle section, it's actually a message from my mother. I didn't get any, she just said it to me. And then in the Mull It Over section, we have a philosophical question that I will answer. All this week on the Dan Stevens Show. Alright, let's start off here. I'm well prepared this week. Old Coke Zero. To wet the whistle. We start with the news. Again, I have dug a news headline from RTE, Ireland's national broadcaster, from their website. So let's get into it. The news. I know now that these are reading glasses. I had a faux pas last week where I thought the table was moving. It was just, these are very intense reading glasses for people that are quite blind. To anyone who's listening, they're small brown pair of glasses. Okay, so I was scrolling down through RTE's headlines, of course, all the main ones. I'm not interested in them. I'll let everybody else talk about them. The likes of Conor McGregor pulling out of the race for presidency. Cue all the jokes on social media from all the comedians. They just go into their little lab and they make their jokes and then boom, which is good. I should do that more. I definitely should do that more, but I don't. I prefer to look at the smaller stories. It's too serious as well. I just prefer. I like to look at a headline and go, oh, what's that? And then actually read into it in detail. And again, guys, I've read this RTE News headline. I've read the whole article, and again, I have found puns. Brian O'Donovan, I know what you're up to. It was the same on last week's episode, where it's a supposedly serious article, and the writer will put a couple of puns in. You'll hear them as I go along. So the headline was, in this RTE News in the Ireland section, was, the lads just treat me like one of them. Female apprentice bus mechanic. Strange headline. Nothing really happened. It's just like something someone would say in the pub, or again. But as I began to read into it, right, the article is about a young lady named Holly McCabe, and fair play to her. She's a second-year apprentice bus mechanic with Dublin Bus. And they've gone on to talk about, this is a quote from Holly. I grew up fixing motorbikes with my brother in my spare time, and I just really like being hands-on and fixing things, Mrs. McCabe said. Again, this is huge news. It makes it onto the international, like the main news of Ireland, this does. Now, she says then, she follows up with, the work is physical, it's dirty, and very hands-on. Changing wheels, cleaning engines, that kind of thing. The day-to-day environment is great. It's always happy with lots of laughs and lots of jokes. Now look, I'll be the first one to give credit where credit's due here. Fair play to RTE News. They've brought a positive story to the news. And fair play to them. So far, I haven't seen any red flags. I haven't seen any reason to doubt them of, is there an agenda behind this story? But don't you worry, guys. It's coming. I don't know if any of you have put it together yet, but although it is a male-dominated workplace, Mrs. McCabe said she never feels left out. The lads just treat me like one of them. We have laughs, we have jokes. I don't get put to one side because I'm a girl. I would encourage other women to look at this as a career. It can be nerve-wracking at the start, but once you get your hands on something, especially buses, you're going to love it for life. That's it, ladies. Get your hands on a bus. Once you become a fully qualified bus mechanic, you can do anything, she added. What? Like, fair, it's good. So she's flying the flag there for Dublin bus. She's saying it's great. This is a headline. There's a young woman working for Dublin bus. Okay, so that's the news so far, right? And then it goes into the big, the big dog to take the big dogs take over. Then in the article it says Dublin bus is hoping that more young people will follow in Holly's footsteps and join its apprenticeship program. The company has warned that a shortage of mechanics could start impacting services. So in one sentence there, they've admitted that it's an advertisement, a recruitment ad for Dublin Bus, which is a government-owned organisation. And they've also threatened people that if you don't, the buses are going to be late. So yeah, they've warned that a shortage of mechanics could start impacting services. And now here it is, the news pun of the smart arse journalist of the week. Here he comes. There's a picture of a bald fella in a high vis. He's the CEO of Dublin Bus, right? Listen to the caption under the picture. CEO of Dublin Bus, Billy Hahn, said it has embarked on an international recruitment drive. You're not fooling me, right? He's put that in there. He goes, look at this. He's in the office. Look at this, guys. I got a pun in. I got two in under the caption. That's what I'd be saying anyway. Unbelievable. And Billy Hahn. Billy Hahn. Oh, would you stop? Billy Hahn says we have. I'm looking under. I can't see it with these glasses, but you have to look scaredy for the news. I've said it before. You have to look serious, okay? Remember that. So Billy says we have record passenger numbers at the moment. Yeah, that's about it. That's it. So they've embarked on a drive. It's a state-owned company, Dublin Bus. So basically, what this article is they're putting that out there because it's an ad. It's a recruitment drive from Dublin Bus, and they want more young women to join. Because number one, any young fella that wants to do an apprentice is probably just doing an electrical one. See, they never say anything about what the money's like there, did they? Is it good money or not? You know, you're going to be electrician, plumber, air conditioning, carpenter. Sorry if I've left any out. Printer, my good friend Paul Alroy is a printer. There's plenty of trades out there. Like, obviously no one wants to be a bus mechanic. And obviously it's state owned. Their pay must be fairly bad. So they said, right, we'll put a story in here now about a young girl that's having a great time working as a bus mechanic. That'll get them on board. On board, huh? Didn't even mean that one. See, I wonder, does the journalist do it on purpose or does it kind of subconsciously happen, the puns? But I guarantee you, every week on this news, I'll find a pun. Guaranteed. And I didn't just pick that one out because there's a pun in it. So yeah, that was Brian O'Donovan, the work and technology correspondent for RTE News. What a headline. The lads just treat me like one of them. Apprentice. Unbelievable. So that was the news section. Okay. Next one, I've expanded. The next section is serial killer of the week. So I keep drinking Coke. Mouth's a bit dry. I'm gonna actually try something here. I do have plenty of hair at the back. I'm gonna try and flip a bit forward. I'm always wondering, how would it look? A bit of a comb over from the back. Usually people do it from the side, don't they? But a bit of a back comb over from the back. I don't know how it looks until after when I'm editing it. And the listeners, look, you're not missing out. It's ridiculous. Don't tune out, right? This week's serial killer of the week is Big John Wayne Gacy. I don't know why I added big. It kind of glorifies him a bit, doesn't it? I don't want to do that. So, John Wayne Gacy, born in Chicago. That's what old Irish people call it, older generation. He was born in 1942 and lived until 1994. He killed 33 young men. Madness. Between 1972 and 1978. His method was he killed 5 directly through employing them for his maintenance company. And then the other 28 were either young fellas he picked up in gay bars or just people that needed a lift or people that he gave promise of work to. 33 young. It's unbelievable, really. So many. He lived in the Des Moines area of Illinois when he was carrying out these murders. Now, I'll tell you something personal. I'm not going to confess to a murder or anything, but it's always on my mind now. Anytime I hear or watch a documentary or see a movie or watch anything about John Wayne Gacy, I'm in a WhatsApp group with my 2 best mates. It's the only WhatsApp group I'm in. And they call me, we started, I don't know, look, this is the type of thing, this is the type of locker room talk that goes on in WhatsApp groups, but we all have an interest in serial killers. We kind of completed it, you know. My friend Keith, he's like Willie Picton. He used to put people through a pig meat grinder. Kill them first, obviously. That's how we get rid of the bodies, feed them to the pigs. Canada, I believe. Maybe I'll talk about him in the future. Then there's Jim. Russell Williams. Used to... So it's not funny, right? Sorry, but this Russell Williams, very intense fella, a military fella. And he used to break into women's houses and then try on their underwear and take pictures of himself. I was going to actually talk about him. Jim doesn't do that, by the way. No, he just looks like him. And Jim's very intense in the best way possible. He's a very inspirational fella. Once he found David Goggins, that was it. He found his spirit animal and no stopping him since. But Jim would be look up Russell Williams. The first thing that comes up, it's public knowledge here. First thing that comes up is a picture of Russell. I'll put one up actually for you. If you type in the Colonel, as we call Jim. Jeez, if someone saw my search history, what's he looking at? Russell Williams. You scroll down a little bit, and there's Russell in a pink bikini. Woman's bikini. He's in good shape. Bit of a farmer's tan. Oh, great! It's gruesome. But they of course then, what I'm saying, the reason I say this is because they call me John Wayne Gacy. Then you know, there's nothing I could do about it. But I associate that with it, you know. I forgot that with me hair. Sorry. My hair is so it's. I know I'm losing my hair on top of my head, right? But it's so fine as well. It's always been so fine. I used to have to use red Dax, even when it was plentiful, to hold it down. The wind is just. It's not wind in here even. It's just anyway. Sensitive Sally today. So John Wayne Gacy ran a company called PDM Contractors. Why do I have 1971 written here? Sorry. So he started PDM Contractors in 1971. His spree went from 72 to 78. And I thought, right, I put two and two together here and got it wrong. So because he was in the Des Moines area, Des Moines, I don't know how you say it, DESMOINES area of Illinois, near Chicago. Sorry, I just. If I do look a bit red, by the way, I'm sunburnt. I was in Lanzarote for a few days, relaxing. Extremely burnt on me back. I'm actually sweating at the moment. But PDM, I would have thought. I didn't know what the P stood for, but I thought DM would definitely be Des Moines. But PDM actually stands for painting, decorating, and maintenance. Now, John used to dress up as a clown. He had two aliases, Killer Clown and Pogo the Clown. Now, if that wasn't a red flag, even when he dressed up as a clown, he had a split personality. That's not good. Yeah, and I was just thinking as well. I bet you, right, if RTE News online was talking about John Wayne Gacy back in the day, I guarantee you in the article they'd say they'd mention the fact that he dressed up as a clown and did kids parties and stuff, and then they'd go, and it caused a media circus. I bet you they'd say that. They would. But a bad egg, I won't go into the details about the killings. You can look up a documentary or something about him. It's very, very bad. He's a rotten egg. Another couple of facts. He died by lethal injection, May 10th, 1994. Now, one particular talking point that I'd be interested in, if I ever was to get the death penalty for some reason or another, last meal. And John Wayne Gacy's last meal says a lot about the man. And I can kind of see why the lads call me John Wayne Gacy. This is the part that sort of rings true. And I'm handy enough with the maintenance as well. Last meal, John Wayne Gacy. 12 deep fried shrimp. A bucket of original recipe chicken from KFC. A pound of strawberries. French fries. And a Diet Coke. Fucking, that's tasty, isn't it? Not, the man was evil, but Jesus, that's tasty. Yeah, I have to say, I'm on a diet at the moment. I'm not on a diet. I hate when you can't say that anymore, can you? I'm on a diet. People look down their nose at you. You can't be on a diet. It has to be a change of lifestyle. I'm trying out a new diet. Mainly just protein. But my God, when I read up on this earlier, my God, I tell you, I was tempted. Sitting down for an evening, watching an old documentary with John Wayne Gacy's last meal. What an evening. It wouldn't be a. It's not as if you're doing a tribute to him or something, you know, but I'd say he was stuffed getting that injection. What else about him? Scumbag of the highest order, just want to say. I'm not trivialising this either, he's a scumbag, but they're very interesting. Serial killers. Like I say, none in Ireland that we know of, really. For some reason. But yeah, that's the killer clown, John Wayne Gacy. I think they found under in the attic. I think that's where he hid the people. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. One more thing, actually. Here's a couple of interesting bits of trivia for you regarding PDM, which was the name of John Wayne Gacy's maintenance company. There is currently a PDM construction in Ireland. And I wonder, do they know? Or do their customers know? I'm not trying to get them cancelled, by the way. There just is. It means painting, decorating, maintenance. So it's just, I'm not trying to get them cancelled. But they're in Dublin. And the funny thing is, they're going since 1970. Gacy was caught in 1979. If they did their research, I don't know what I'm trying to connect here, but... Oh, they started their company before him then. He only started his in 1971. So yeah, they have the rights. Maybe he stole it off. No, he couldn't have. We have another one as well. PDM. Parfums de Marly. PDM. Perfume company. Started in 2009. Just saying. Dodgy. Okay. That was the serial killer of the week, John Wayne Gacy. Big fat. Let's say it for what he is, a fat bollocks. But I tell you one thing as well now, just not to make light of it again, but I will say his victims were all young men looking for work. There's a lot to be said about being lazy. A lot to be said for being lazy. My good friend Rob Nodder has a great comedy bit about that. You'd never have Just Eat or Deliveroo or anything if there was never lazy people. So I mean, the lazy ones got away with it here, didn't they? Don't go looking for work. just chill out. Become a comedian. Do a podcast. But I can't see someone getting away with that these days. What he got away with, John Wayne Gacy. A lot of material on him on YouTube. It's morbid fascination. Millions of views on stuff. People pretend that they're disgusted by it, but they're morbidly fascinated by it. Irish people especially, because it's in America, it's alright. It's in America. Mad over there they are. They're mad. Tell you one thing, we give, especially on the comedy scene and, in general, we give the Americans a lot of stick. Can't take it ourselves, though. Imagine an American slagging an Irish fella. Drunk Irish fella in the middle of Temple Bar, calling him Paddy. Imagine. How dare you call me that? How dare you? We only English. We only got our freedom and you're calling me Paddy. I remember I got called Paddy before when I lived in Australia. Working on a site with this plasterer. I was working for an agency. Doing labouring. On a site in Melbourne, and some big lump of a fella, about 6'3", a big beast. He's like, "How you going, Paddy?" I kind of half answered him back. I wasn't speaking good English at the time. Anyway, I was 21 and I spoke too quick. He was like, "How you going, Paddy?" I was like, what I'd say now, I'd stand up to him and go, "My name's not Paddy. My name is Dan Stevens, right?" But what I said back then was, "No, Paddy. My name's Daniel." "What, mate?" "Nothing. Yeah, how are you?" I was far too scared to hit him, but I would hit him in a heartbeat now. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's the serial killer of the week. John Wayne Gacy. As well, I looked up, was John Wayne born in Illinois? Is that why they named their son John Wayne? He was born in Iowa, which is pretty close, I'm pretty sure. There could be a connection there, but I couldn't find it. Alright, so that was the serial killer of the week. Next up, the Agony Uncle section. Nobody sent in anything again. And I wouldn't lie to you and make one up. So I'm just gonna... Well, my mother kind of requested this one. And she's such a wise woman. Like, I admire her so much. But she's just a very strong, uh, gets on with it kind of a person. Loves her coffee, loves a laugh. Wouldn't necessarily too often get philosophical or get deep, you know what I mean? But she said something to me the other day. Me and my sister Kate and my mum were in Lanzarote for a few days. They went for the week. Kate and my mum were going away together for a week. And I said, you know what? They asked me to tag along, kind of. I threw in 50 for petrol to the rental car, that was it. And I slept outside. Slept outside on a couch kind of thing. A few flies in the morning. Other than that, it was fine. But we were sitting in this restaurant in Lanzarote, which, by the way, is just off the African kind of coast. Mali, I think. It's not even that near people. I think it's part of Spain, but it's actually beside Africa. Right beside Africa. A very arid landscape. Volcanoes, rocks. I went over there to have a little break, rest my knees. My knees have been sore because I played Astro five-a-side for the first time in 7 years the other week. Knees swelled up. Also, just been a busy time with Edinburgh, with Electric Picnic, with gigs. I actually have one tonight in Limerick. That's why I couldn't get the John Wayne Gacy value meal. Anyway, we're sitting there and the sun is shining. And we've been through a lot as a family in the last few years. And anything to do with God or heaven or anything like that is getting more and more relevant to me. I don't know why, but I did go to the church a couple of times in the chaos when my aunt and my brother passed away within a couple of months of each other, and I remember going to the church a few times. I just got drawn to it. It's the sanctity of the place, I think, and just it's perfect to get into a meditative state. It's very quiet and it's really nice physically, and it just feels good in there for me. I don't know why. I used to go there when I was young every week. My dad would bring me. So anything to do with religion, I always find quite interesting, and as I get older, a bit more interesting. And my mum was we were looking up at the sun, not directly at it, but the sun was shining down, and she said, Dan, did you ever think maybe the sun is God? I was like, jeez, I never heard someone saying that sentence before. I mean, this could pass for the mullet over section as well, but I have a separate question for that though. After this, mullet over's coming next, by the way. But of course, I start making comedic connections immediately of like, the sun is like God because everybody gets burnt in the end or something. I don't know. But when I thought about it, I think it's a toss up for me. If I was to compare something or make a parallel between something physical or earthly and the idea of God, it would either be the sun or the sea. The sun keeps us warm, obviously. I don't know what. Sorry, I'm being flippant here. What does the sun do? It gives us brightness, doesn't it? It gives us light, literally. It'd be totally dark without the sun, wouldn't it? So that's one thing. Helps things to grow. It's now starting to give solar energy, but that's kind of human made. But it does give energy. Gives us vitamin D, isn't that the one? Vitamin D. So it really helps to sustain life. But I think I don't want to sound like some kind of, I'm just a comedian, former electrician, comedian. But it made me think about how I'm pretty sure that we all came from the sea, that the sea created everyone and everything, which would make it God. Now, I could be wrong there. I didn't want to look this up because sometimes I just like to meander through the facts and around them. But as humans, anyway, if the theory of evolution is correct or somewhat correct, we did come from the water, didn't we, originally? So that would mean that everybody was created by the sea, which would make it God. And then it provides food that's really healthy. Seafood is so healthy. What else does it do? We travel across it from one place to another. You can float on it, like. Also provides nutrients, the salt in itself. There's more, obviously, but I think between the sun and the sea, it's God. Yeah, I don't know that much about whatever the subject is that cover physics and geography and biology and all that stuff, but it seems like if without the sea and without the sun, there'd be no life on Earth. So to equate either one of them to be God, I think is very valid. And it was just a moment of wisdom from my mum that I was just like, wow, could be. So maybe it shouldn't be the clouds we're looking at for heaven. Maybe it's the sun and the sea. Even the way it feels when we jump in, like I know a lot of people don't practice sea swimming and stuff, but the way that it revitalizes the body when you jump into it, and then the way you feel when you haven't been in the sun for a while and you walk out in that, heavenly feelings, and they reset you, and it's just, don't know what it is. It shocks your system just perfectly so that you feel good after it. And then the sun is great. Too much of it though, not great. My back's in bits, but between the two of them, I think we have the closest that you can get to earthly versions of God with everything they provide. So yeah, that was something that my mum said. Well, you might discuss that on your show. I was like, you know what, I might. And I saved it into my phone and thought about it. The other little thought I had myself is that carpet is nostalgic. All my best memories are on carpet. When I was young, there was way more carpet. Things weren't so soulless and concrete and hard. Carpet underfoot, I think, mimics comfortable grass. I'll tell you why, and I'm not going to go on about this much longer, but I was in Liffey Valley Cinema on a Friday night. I went to see Jaws 50th anniversary. I came back into the cinema. I was like, I have to go to this. I want to see it in the cinema, and it was unbelievable. Really enjoyed it now, I have to say. Jaws was unbelievable, but I was in the cinema, LED lighting, daylight LED lighting. The warmth is gone from the building. It's all shiny, easy to clean, so it saves money. But I remember, and I think there's still cinemas like this in some places, but the carpet underfoot in the main area of the cinema when you're getting your popcorn, something about popcorn and carpet that's just the mixture. The smell of the popcorn. There was no smell of the popcorn. Smell of fucking Lynx Africa there was. Them people in Liffey Valley. No offence. That's where PDM is actually. Come to think of it, the Dublin one. But I will say, carpet. We need more of it. Bring carpet back, please. I know it takes a while to clean it and stuff, but just bring it back, alright? It's nice. Mustard carpet. I just have this desire to go back in time, and carpet is part of that. But anyway, that was the Agony Uncle section. A bit unorthodox this week. But that's that. The final section of the show, of this week's show, is the mullet over section. I know we got very philosophical in the Agony Uncle section there, but I just could not believe I've never made that connection between the sun and the sea and God and heaven. Heaven wasn't in it actually, it was just God, but you go to God, don't you? Apparently. So, mullet over this week is, what's one small moment in your day that makes you feel like life is quietly, perfectly beautiful? This is the philosophical question that was generated to me by the internet. One small moment in your day. I feel like I pick holes in these questions, but it's just the way my mind works. So if there's one small moment in your day that makes you feel like life is quietly, perfectly beautiful, that would suggest that you have a routine. And I think living in a routine is the best way for humans to live. So it's an idealistic question. It's asking about someone who has a routine, does the same thing every day, which is not me. The moments in my day, personally, that make me feel life is quietly, perfectly beautiful, usually happen in the moments that I didn't expect. Like in a day when I meet my friends and we go out to Howth, and one time we went out to Howth and we ended up getting a boat out to Bull Island, and I didn't know what I'd be doing that day. And there was so many moments that felt like life is quietly, perfectly beautiful. To me, they come in the unknown. I love unknown scenarios. I love going to places that I've never seen. When I was going to Lanzarote to meet my sister and my mother, she's like, I'm not sending you any pictures. You'll see it when you get here, where we were staying, and it was lovely. I made a little comedy reel involving an alligator. If you haven't seen that yet, check my Instagram out. I had a relationship with an alligator over there. Crocodile / alligator, I don't know which one it is. But this question of the small moment in the day that makes you feel like life is quietly, perfectly beautiful. If it's the same moment in every day, it's asking which one small moment in the day makes you feel like life is quietly, perfectly beautiful. If you're having that moment every day, does the law of marginal consumption not kick in? Which means that things get progressively less enjoyable as you do them more. Which makes me ask the question, can these moments only come through living a varied life with a lot of unknowns in it? But it could be a thing where maybe you're a father or a mother and you go into you've had a kid and you're going in every morning, you hear the kid crying and you're going in to comfort the kid, and it's that first little moment when you look at your child's eyes, and that could be just as beautiful every day, I suppose. But sure, I don't have any kids, so how could I have that? It's different for everybody, and I don't think the kids stop crying, do they, when you go in, so realistically. What's something for you guys to think about, listeners and viewers? You can write in, you can email the danstevenshow@gmail.com. You can write to the Instagram page. You can write in the comments. What is that small moment in your day that makes you feel like life is quietly, perfectly beautiful? It's a false feeling, by the way, because it never is it? But feeling like it is great. Maybe it's your cat. Maybe it's holding your cat or petting your dog. Who knows? Can moments be subject to the law of marginal consumption? I know that chocolate and stuff can be, like the first Snickers I ever had. Wow. Now I've had so many that I forget about it. I think that's what happens as we get older with alcohol as well. You have so many nights out. In general, me personally and a lot of my friends, that you're just like, I've seen this already. It's not as good anymore. Whereas the first days or nights that I went drinking in the fields of Blanchardstown was just unbelievable. The adventure, knowing you shouldn't be doing it. There was so much of it that was new. Then you just get tired of it as you get older. Priorities change. Can that happen with moments? If you're having the same moment every day and it's really magical at the start, you just get sick of it and then it's a different moment. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it, but that is what I do. So, guys, please give a good rating if you're listening or watching on Spotify. Really helps. Comment, engage. You can request serial killers. Send them on to me. I'll put them on the list. What else? Send in your thoughts about the news articles. Do you think they're actually putting in puns on purpose? I think they are. Smart arses, journalists. Carpet, what's your opinions? And Billy as well. Billy is a listener, long time friend. Keep up the commenting. I'm loving it. Thank you for listening. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Help me out any way you can. Share the thing. Building a nice little army of followers now. Keep sharing. Let's grow the army. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you again soon. This has been episode 10 of The Dan Stevens Show. Goodbye.